Live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Duke's Dive. Took last week off to observe Halloween, you cretins. So there was no episode, but I'm going to be doing a big double episode this week. I'm going to be talking about the last episode of NXT, the big NXT invasion on the main roster, ladies and gentlemen, Raw and SmackDown, whatever. And I'm going to be talking about this week's episode of NXT as well. And if you don't like that, well, don't listen. Nobody listens anyway, so... Anyway, I digress and digest. This upcoming weekend, nothing going on for us, or for me, anyway. We got Impact with PPW on the 9th. If you're in the area of Hazleton, go check those guys out that's the 9th of November, and then in the 10th of November they also have a date coming up. I think it's going to be at the Steamtown Mall again. I'm not exactly sure, but check those guys out on Facebook, PPW Wrestling, of course. Then on the weekend of the 15th, I will be up at the True Mill for True Clash. Already some awesome matches announced. We got Kristen Statlander versus Tony Deppen, Clay Drasher versus The Whisper for the Big Gun Championship. We got Adina Steele versus Trajan, I think it is. Let me see, I don't want to mislead anybody here, so bear with me. I know they announced Trajan's match. Oh, no, excuse me. Trajan is going to be wrestling Tommy Vex. Let me see here, True Wrestling. I said Trajan will be wrestling Tommy Vex. Silent But Deadly will be taking on Dog Nation. That's the name of Sage Matthews and Alan Clayball. Dog Nation. So now that I know what to call those guys, I didn't know before for whatever reason. It will be Bro Keller versus Wheeler Yuta. Awesome matchup. Adina Steele versus Samuel Adams. Titan Outlaws, which is the Chop Saw Outlaw, Bo Nakota, and Bull Hightower, and the mystery opponent versus the Stepdads and Tommy Boy Floyd. Oh, that should be awesome. Yeah, so those are the matches that are already announced for True Wrestling, True Clash on the 15th. On the 16th, we got PCWA, GI Bears Birthday Bash. The following weekend, we have, not exactly sure if we're going to be going up to Icons, but they have an awesome event going on up there. Smart Mark Alley in collaborations with Top Rope, let me get this right. I don't want to misinform anybody. Put my friend Alan Fenceman here. Excuse that screaming effing dog in the background. I cannot do anything about my mother deciding to live with 10 dogs. But anyways, we got Top Rope TV, Rope to Rope Entertainment. I think that name's going to be switched, as well as the logo Smart Mark Alley, Team Philly Enterprises. Yep, Wrestling Archives. They're going to be taking Manny Fernandez and HC Loke up there, as well as Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Orange Cassidy, Priscilla Kelly, oh my god, Stan Hansen. There's going to be a lot of people up there at the Icons of Wrestling event on the 23rd. I'm not sure personally if we're going to be doing that or what's going on with our schedule, but the next day will be Northern Tier Wrestling in Sayre, Pennsylvania. already some awesome matches announced for there as well. Let me take you to that as well. See what we got here as far as the next event for Northern Tier Wrestling goes. I just want to show you the matches here. We have the Ring Crew Warriors versus a mystery team. We don't know who they're going to be facing, but we know it will be Joey and Jeff, as well as JD in their corner. There will be there will be a fight of Matic versus the Patriot. I know there's more here. Let me pull that up. I know there's more announced. I'm rambling here. A Northern Tier Wrestling event. I gotta go on their event page here and look that up real quick. Northern Tier invades South Philadelphia. That's MTW. That's not the one I'm looking for right at this moment. NTW Wrestling, SAYRE, Sayre. Northern Tier Wrestling returns to Sayre, Pennsylvania. So here we go. Here's the discussion. Like I said, along with that tag team match, Matic versus the Patriot, we also have we have a scramble match for the 607 championship, which will feature, it's the 607 street fight, it will have Axel Lennox versus Big Papa Chill versus LDC, the current 607 champion, versus Anarchy versus Rob Cook. That should be a barn burner. We got Born to Wrestle with Tony Atlas versus Joey P, Rob Sweet, and Furious. I'm not exactly sure what made Furious switch. Maybe he got tired of taking that loss, or Joey P decided to fork over some moldy money his way. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but we have the great H.C. Loke taking on Dewey Murray for the NTW Heavyweight Championship. We have Dave versus Seth Briggs. And, see here. King Kong Nasty versus Kibu. And my most anticipated match out of these ones, because I'm a big proponent for the Young Guns division, it is TJ taking on Adon in the Young Guns. So that's what we got going on for the rest of the month. And now let me grab you by the gizzard as I explain the last couple weeks of television wrestling. Okay, now if we can get the dogs to stop screaming their fucking guts out, we can talk about NXT's October 30th edition. I'm going to run through these events real quick. I'm not going to spend an hour on each one. I don't want to clog you up too much here. But the show kicked off with Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. Io had an awesome live entrance provided by the YouTube star Poppy. I love the band's look. I didn't really know she did anything much more than weird, creepy kind of YouTube videos, so it was kind of cool to see her finally, taking on to that next level, and doing something like that was cool to me. I like the music. I've been listening ever since she made this entrance. I've been looking her up. I love the music. She just came out with a new album. I learned that apron kick that Io uses is called a tiger feint kick. I was calling it something else. I don't know what the heck I was doing. The ladies go tope suicido for tope suicido on the ramp. Candice somehow ends up with a bloody nose and a back and forth exchange. LeRae stuffs a moonsault attempt by Io but couldn't capitalize on it. Io then introduces a chair into the match, but the referee takes it. Candice mounts a comeback but misses a Caprana off the ropes and hits the chair while it was still laying in the ring, which then Io picks up the win for this. And then Io continues the onslaught after the match, and Rhea Ripley comes out to fight her off. This brings us to Finn Balor coming out. He is addressing the NXT Full Sail universe. First off, he takes a dig at Bray Wyatt for being the hot topic because he wears a mask. He says he took his mask off and now he's the hottest thing in the business. Says the business has too many Twitter tough guys. Marks in the locker room need to be out watching the show with the other marks. He says he doesn't watch the business watches him, and he says he's going to turn Johnny Wrestling into Johnny Watches Wrestling if he wants to keep it up. So, like I say, I love this kind of Finn Balor. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with him from day to day or what's going on. I think he's back to true form, back to his true Prince form. So that's cool to see. Love Finn Balor. We go on to the next match, which is Shane Thorne versus Bronson Reed. I'm also happy to see Bronson Reed back. I like that dude. I like his look. Shane Thorne, also somebody who impressed me in this match. Shane explodes out of the gate, hitting shotgun drop kicks to Bronson Reed in the corner. The two had a lengthy back and forth exchange, chop for chop. Bronson goes up to the top in the match. Shane follows him up. The two battle. Reed incredibly just tosses him off and then hits a frog splash for the win. Shane Thorne, I was really impressed with. He really impressed me in this match. In the short time that the match was on, I'd like to see them both come back again. I've already said this about Bronson, but I'm definitely doubling down on Bronson. I'm saying I want to see Shane Thorne back too. Loving the people that they're bringing in the NXT right now. Absolutely loving it. The next match we move on to is Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox versus the Kabuki Warriors. The Kabuki Warriors back on NXT. It was awesome to see those ladies. The Kabuki Warriors really need a new entrance song because it's just so mashed together. One song, Asuka's, and then the Genius of the Sky. No, it couldn't be that. I don't know. It's so hard to keep up with these ladies, and they just come out of the woodworks, and my dog is screaming, and he won't shut the fuck up. It was sweet, like I said, seeing the Kabuki Warriors back. Tegan and Dakota worked very, very well together. It was impressive corner strikes together on Asuka. The Kabuki Warriors target Dakota Kai's left knee, the unrehabbed knee, which this is going to go into the next week's event with Dakota Kai, as I will explain her injury report. Asuka uses the mist when the referee has his back turned. Asuka hits a hip attack. Kairi Sane. Sane hits the insane elbow to pick up the win, and they retain their titles. The three horsewomen come out after the match and start an attack, and Rhea Ripley then comes out and is attacked by Io Shirai, and then Bianca Belair comes out and then she's attacked by Candice LeRae, who comes out and then attacks Io. Rhea Ripley and Baszler battle in the ring. The ring fills up. William Regal comes out and he says, you know what? I got an easy answer for this. First ever female War Games. So we got this awesome War Games match coming up with these ladies. As we move on to the next match, which was Tyler Bates versus Cameron Grimes. Awesome stuff. Bates, only 19 years old. Grimes uses his really neat looking sliding knees in this match. Very technical match. A nice diving European uppercut and standing shooting star press from Bates, as well as an electric chair Hurricane Rana. A neat little rolling capo kick followed by a suicide dive. Tyler Bates was just out trying to impress today, man. And then, of course, you had Dane distracting Bates, and then Grimes wins with his cave-in. Dane attacks Bates after the match, and then we move on to Keith Lee and Matt Riddle versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. This was a really good one too. Riddle and Lee make a good team. Lee was super athletic. The Undisputed Era was cut off. Riddle in the corner. That was a smart tag team stuff from them. Of course, that they're the tag team roster. They're the tag team veterans here. So the tag team veterans of the roster. So that they work those guys in the corner and cut them off. Lee gets in, he cleans the house, but then he misses with the second rope moonsault. Undisputed Era wins with a high and low total elimination. Then they tease a Ciampa versus Cole little situation there. So that closes out that episode of NXT. We move on to what I like to call, and the rest of the internet is obviously calling too, NXT Takeover Smackdown. This was the Smackdown event that started the whole invasion angle for NXT this week, as well as it was this Smackdown, and then the following Raw. I didn't watch Raw. I just wanted to cover this because this was the firing shot for NXT to come out because of all the travel issues that was going on with the Saudi Arabia show. And, this was the perfect time to strike while the iron was hot for NXT. The show opened up with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Heyman has Fox play the entire Lesnar versus Velasquez match, the crown jewel fight. It was an okay fight. It was very short, but Brock wins the title with a Kimura. Says this is revenge for their fight years ago, and the scar on his face tells the story. I guess Velasquez might have hurt his knee in here. That's what they're saying. I don't know, but like I said, the match was it was okay, but it was just really, really short. I didn't think he'd win with the tap out like that. But after the match, then Rey Mysterio beats the shit out of Lesnar with a chair shot. Says they demand that Lesnar gets a match with Rey, but Rey is on. Paul Heyman demands that Brock Lesnar gets a match with Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio is on Raw, so therefore Lesnar henceforth quits SmackDown and is now a Raw roster member, and then he was going to go on Raw and hunt Rey Mysterio down. Whatever. The first match we have is Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Love Bayley's new music. It was cool to have Aiden English on commentary for a little bit. Bayley definitely more physical in this match, using the steps. Nikki's athleticism was also on display here though, but Bayley hits a beautiful elbow drop. Sasha gets involved, pushes Nikki off the top rope while the referee's back is turned. Bayley hits a front Russian leg sweep for the win. And then Shayna Baszler comes out, makes a show, and then she just destroys everybody to make a name. She just come out and destroyed everybody. We go into the next segment, which is Sami Zayn backstage. He says that if NXT is invading, they better stay out of his way, and walks Keith Lee and Matt Riddle. They said that he was Sami Zayn tells those guys, hey, I was down with NXT since day one, but they kind of chase him off in a cool little backstage promo type of thing. But they chase him to the ring where Matt Riddle and Keith Lee basically destroy him. Riddle hits a ripcord knee and a bro Derek, and then Keith Lee hit him with a moonsault. We then go into the next segment, which is Miz TV. The most must-see show on TV, the Miz TV. Miz shows clips from The Fiend versus Rollins. Says Bray Wyatt cannot be at the show, but he decides to talk about NXT instead because Bray Wyatt was supposed to be his guest, but with the travel issues, he couldn't make it. But he starts talking about NXT. He's interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa introduces himself, says that he is the greatest sports entertainer of all time, and says it's time someone gave Miz a reality check. Miz says he knows who Ciampa is, but says he wishes that Tommaso would have been more original with his promos, because everybody says the same old thing about Miz over and over and over again. And it says, if you're here to make a statement, you better make one. So then we move into this match. We got Tommaso Ciampa versus The Miz. Miz had some nasty looking kicks and knees in the corner here. A great back and forth storytelling between these guys with the knee. They were going after, with Miz targeting Ciampa's knee to Ciampa. I liked what Pat brought to commentary after he replaced Aiden English. Miz does win with Tommaso Ciampa wins the match with a fairy tale ending. This will be the first NXT win of the night. This was a great match. You got to go out of your way and watch that, no matter how you do that. I didn't really like to replay on Fox Sports 1 through my DVR, because I'll get into that. But Daniel Bryan and then Triple H run into each other backstage. Triple H said something about being called out on Twitter. Daniel Bryan says he is looking for a fight and challenges Triple H, but Triple H didn't bring his gear and says Bryan will then face Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. Awesome stuff. We got a match here. Up next is Fire and Desire versus what's supposed to be Dana Brooke and Carmella, but we see that Bianca Belair is beating the hell out of Carmella and Dana Brooke backstage. Rhea Ripley takes Mandy Rose out. So it was supposed to be Fire and Desire versus Dana Brooke and Carmella, but it was supposed to be Fire and Desire, Dana Brooke and Carmella versus Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox. I don't know how to, my notes are all over the place here, but Sonya is thrown into the commentary table. It was Sonya Deville, Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox winning that one, the second win for NXT in the night. Then we have Stephanie McMahon come out. Like I said, I didn't know what was going on with the whole thing. I don't know if they were editing it for Fox Sports 1. The whole thing was an hour and a half, and the commercials were really weirdly placed. You couldn't really fast forward or rewind or skip any of the commercials, so it was all just a very weird thing for the DVR. I didn't really record it, so I went back and watched it. But Stephanie McMahon comes out and announces that this awesome women's match just happened in Saudi Arabia between Natalya and Lacey Evans. She then shows all these great, awesome moments that were said on Twitter about the Saudi Arabian crown jewel stuff. It was just kind of odd to see that. I guess that was a little bit of a crowd control, because that event seemed to have a lot of controversy behind it. There's a lot of people who are tweeting against it, and there's a lot of people that are tweeting in support of it, but right now there seems to be a lot of controversy about it. This moves us into the main event of the evening, which was my match of the night for here, Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. We had a big-time Smash Mouth dream match right here, Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. Daniel still seems to be playing a tweener. He yells out to Triple H that Cole doesn't belong in the ring with him. Renee calls him the Dragon, the American Dragon. You know, I think that he's... I wouldn't say he's exactly a full-time, big-time face guy, Daniel Bryan, but he plays on the line there. You had Cole competing with a fracture in his wrist. I did not like how Fox had to replay. Like I said, Daniel was crazy with the flying knee off the apron. This, like I said, not only is this my match of the night, but I'm going to institute a match of the week. So, for the last week, this was my match of the week. Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. Still scary to see Daniel Bryan do that flying headbutt. I worry for him every time he does it. I just don't want to see him get hurt with that head injury. Cole sidesteps Daniel Bryan's running knee, hits him with a super kick, goes to the top rope and hits a Panama Sunrise for the win. The NXT locker room then fills out the ring in the ringside area to close out the show. The next thing on here we have is the latest episode of NXT. And then we can stop because the dog is flipping. NXT 11, November 6th, 2019. So before NXT comes on the air here, we had AJ Styles and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the OC, destroy the Undisputed Era, busted them wide open. I think that they said one of the guys there had a incisor miss, and I think that was Fish. After there, they opened the show. Then the OC, after they kicked the crap out of some ring hands and whatever, young boys, I don't know what you want to call that, back to old New Japan style, kicking the shit out of young boys on their way to the ring. Hey! So amazing to finally see AJ in an NXT ring. He says this was Raw's return shot to NXT. Says the OC is taking over. Then Ciampa comes out and says that AJ and the OC, welcome to the main roster. Keith Lee and then Riddle come out, and then they say that they are prepared for the Undisputed Era, but tonight they will fight the OC if they need to. This opens up the first match of the night. Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. You know what? Let me see here. Yeah. Yep, these two look to show off right off the bat. Great stuff happens while they are picture-in-picture for the commercial break. I don't know. I hate when they do some of the greatest stuff in the commercial break. Some of the best stuff is left on the cutting room floor there. But you have Pete Dunne kept hitting Priest in the chest with some crazy open palm strikes. A beautiful moonsault off the top rope to the outside from Dunne. A crazy tope con hero from Priest. Just a crazy striking style, strong style match. I like to call this NXT strong style. The ref discombobulated just like he did in their last encounter. Dunne then hits the low blow just as Priest did in the previous encounter. And then he wins with a finger manipulation submission cross arm bar. And Killian Dane comes out and he starts brawling with the two. They have Damian Priest getting checked out. Killian Dane smashed Damian Priest onto the steps, so they have him getting checked out for a back fracture. I think that we will see a triple threat at War Games between Pete Dunne, Damian Priest, and Killian Dane. Maybe they'll even throw Cameron Grimes in there. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But we move on to the next match. Taynara versus Santana Garrett. It was so cool to see Santana Garrett in NXT. It was so cool to see her and hear her story about her father and stuff like that. So awesome to see Santana Garrett. She's so deserving of a spot on NXT. And I hope that she's back. Taynara was playing very aggressive in this one. Taynara with an awesome judo throws, more fluid than Ronda Rousey in my book. Taynara hits the Rings of Saturn, one of my most favorite moves. Then she wins with a crazy kick to the face, reminiscent of something Daniel Bryan would do. So Taynara, yeah, one could say she's heading up to the picture, the talking points for Women's Champion. Then we have Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler. Dakota is more offensive than I expected her to be in this match. Baszler was awesome with a joint manipulation, awesome submission moves, trained by Josh Barnett. Dakota Kai kicks out after a brutal knee and a jaw to the jaw. Then she breaks out of the Kafora clutch that I forget what I can't pronounce how they do that. It's some kind of clutch that she does, and then she broke out, but Baszler puts her in the second one for the win. The War Games ladies then do brawl again after the match. Then Mia Yim comes out, destroys everyone with a kendo stick, Joey P style. So I think she was added then to the kerfuffle for the NXT Women's War Game match. Only one more woman to be announced for that match as we move into NXT War Games. NXT will take care of their in-house problems at War Games, and then they look to unify as they take on the blue and red brand as the black and gold brand. And you know who I'm behind on that whole situation, because we are NXT, my friend. The next match, Tony Nese versus Angel Garza. This was my match of this week. This was a great match. Had a lot of great action, a lot of great striking. Commercials on USA suck. Garza matches Priest. Excuse me, not Priest, but yeah, I mean, it was Priest. Yeah, no, it was Dunn who hit that moonsault. Yeah, so he matches kind of like Dunn for the outside, for the moonsault off the top to the ringside. So I thought that was kind of neat. He did his own little moonsault. Well, not little, but he did his own moonsault. Garza Garza had a crazy transition into a lung blower, but Garza did win with the with a neat move that they were called the Wind Clipper. He's the number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship, NXT Cruiserweight Championship title. He sees Mr. Leo Rush on the ramp, but offers him no respect. As we move on to Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Dominik Dijakovic. Excuse me, I'm sorry, yeah, that match, but the Tony Nese versus Angel Garza wasn't my match of the week. This was my match of the week, right here. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Dominik Dijakovic. I would love to see Laszlo Arpad versus Dominik Dijakovic in NXT. Dijakovic was very dominant in here. Had a crazy roll up from Swerve after a feast your eyes off the top rope from Dijakovic. Swerve was a former Evolved champion, and he had a beautiful Poison Rana, followed by a double stomp. But I just didn't like how Dijakovic would hit these big ass moves on him, and then Swerve was right back to his feet, bang, hitting another move off of him, like right off of his huge ass move. Like it was showing like Swerve would do moves to him, and he would hit these big moves, and he'd just basically like shrug it off or basically like shake his head. But it seems like then he'd go full bore on Isaiah Swerve Scott, like lariat the shit out of him, knock his head off. But then it seemed like Swerve like immediately bang, like a second afterwards comes back after him. Come on, man. Can't do that, can you? I don't know, but I'm just some dork on the internet. Like I said, it was still my match of the week, but I just didn't like how he came right afterwards, bang, 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 right after he'd get knocked out. Like, I mean, I guess it shows you that it would be his instinct to keep on fighting, even though he just got effing waylaid, leveled. Anyway, Dijakovic wins the match with a Feast Your Eyes, and we move on to the main event of the evening, the OC versus Riddle, Lee, and Ciampa. This match, OC had a great song and a graphic. I'm not sure if that's new or how often these guys come out together. I don't really watch the blue and red brand as much as I should, but I've started getting into it now because of the whole NXT invasion angle. We had the OC actually getting booed here. The match immediately was all over the place, no control at all. The match was on the outside, the inside, fighting mostly on the outside. Then AJ and Ciampa was just so damn good. The best crowd you could have had for this match was at Full Sail. Lee and Gallows were very good together. The crowd strongly against, like I said, against the OC. Then you had Matt Riddle comes in, he cleans house and gets Goldberg-style chants, Riddle, Riddle, awesome. Lee takes out the ref accidentally by pouncing Styles into him. Then Ciampa goes to hit the fairy tale ending, but Balor comes out in the middle of that. AJ Styles hits a Pele kick. Balor then picks up, I think, Kyle O'Reilly, somebody, and then hits a 1916 on him while AJ poses in the ring. But Finn Balor is on the ramp and he does the guns to him. So like I said, Oh, and then Ciampa comes out and takes out, or excuse me, Cole comes out and takes out Ciampa while that pose-off goes on. But like I said, I don't know what's going on with Finn Balor. I don't know if he's really accepting the OC on NXT, as well as a lot of people thought that when he was doing that pose-off, he joined the Undisputed Era, and I had to tell people right then and there, like, no, he didn't join the Undisputed Era. He definitely didn't join the Undisputed Era. If anything, he's going back to his old roots, you know what I mean? But I don't know if exactly he's going to be doing the OC either, joining up with them. I don't know if he's going to be making his own Balor Club finally, a man of his own. He could be a man of his own. Prince of NXT, Prince Fergal Devitt. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm definitely interested to see. The only thing I could say about AEW, like they really hyped up this whole Rick and Morty thing, that Rick and Morty was going to be guest hosts. Basically, all they did was announce what I love the team. I love Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, but all they did was announce him to the ring, and then those guys dressed up. So, and then people lost their goddamn mind over that, because you can't put cartoons with wrestling. Come on, you gotta be serious. Come on, Rick. Come on, you gotta be serious, Rick. We can't be out here messing around with the AEW Championship, Rick. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My brand is NXT, and I think I'm going to start watching MLW again now that they have AJ Kershaw on the commentary team. Big fan of his. I love his stuff with the NXT 2K video games. Have him on Facebook. He posts some good stuff. I like it. I like AJ. But I digressed and I digest, ladies and gentlemen. I finally end the show. The dog finally shuts the fuck up. And all's right with the world. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you next time when I bring you the Duke's Dive. Should be coming up here soon. I will be covering, like I said, the NXT War Games for sure. Different things coming up. I'd probably cover Survivor Series just because of the big NXT implications there. That's what I got coming up for the rest of the month. I'm not sure when Survivor Series is. I think that's right around like Thanksgiving time, I do believe. We got, like I said, War Games coming up. If you're into it, they got this week. I think this weekend is doggone AEW Full Gear. So, like I said, I'm not trying to shit on them guys. I definitely respect that they're in the game. My kind of flavor of tea, my flavor of coffee, my flavor of creamer is NXT. I'm not really an AEW guy. I love a lot of their roster members. Nyla Rose, Orange Cassidy, Pac the Bastard, Johnny Moxley, Dean, you know what I mean? I love a lot of them guys. I like their roster, but it's just so goddamn hard to watch 50 shows a week, man. So I try to cut it down to just these two, man. You know, NXT, and I only care about that side roster stuff because NXT is involved. So I watch NXT and I watch MLW. I'd like to start watching Capital and Synergy. It's just so much, man. I got wrestling 24/7 and already, and then you throw in all these extra shows, and then it's like wrestling 365 24/8. Which ain't a bad thing, but I just can't keep up with everything. I'm getting old. I'm getting raggedy. I'm getting run down. We got 10 dogs in the house driving me nuts on a daily basis. So, and I'm trying to do other kind of adultly things like get my permit and work on stuff like that, and maybe a part-time job, stuff like that. So, like I said, I can't really pick up and watch a wrestling show every single night of the doggone week. But kudos to AEW. I love what they're doing. I hope they're around for a very, 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 very long time. I wish them nothing but success. I wish them nothing but, continued support. Both brands seen a rise in viewership this week. AEW is still kicking the shit out of NXT with their viewership, but they both we're over 800,000 views this week, so that's good for wrestling. I like it. I like to see it. Keep it up, guys. I'll catch you guys next time on the Duke's Dive. Thank you.